Hello, my name is Madam Jennifer from Educare TZ. Welcome my lovely Form 4 students in a biology session, and I would like to welcome you again in the solving for the Necta series of Necta question for biology 1. And in our today's session, we are going to solve the Necta for the year 2018. So I would like to welcome you to see how different questions come or constructed from different topics we have learned from Form 1 up to Form 4, and how we are needed to tackle them so as to make sure that we obtain all the marks which has been provided for each question. So in our today's session, we are going to solve the question number 7 for the year 2018. So our first question, or our Roman A question, is state that briefly explain the process of menstruation in human being. Briefly explain the process of menstruation in the human being. Roman B stated that mention 2 types of the common disorders of the human reproductive system. Mention 2 types of the common disorders of the human reproductive system. My lovely Form 4 students, this question comes from the Form 3 topic, from the topic of the reproduction, especially katika reproduction in mammals. Kwa katika reproduction in mammals is where this question has been constructed. Tukiangalia katika menstruation, hii hapa ni moja secondary sexual characteristics of the female after the puberty, na vile vile the disorders of the human reproductive system, ambapo tunaenda kuangalia magonjwa au infection ambazo zinakuwa zina affect the female reproductive system. Hapa tunaambiwa the human reproductive system, au tunaweza tukaelezea either female au mekwenda kuangalia reproductive system. Baada kuangalia the reproductive organs is where you can know the disorders which tend to affect this part of the reproductive system. So by starting with our question number 7, Roman A, briefly explain the process of menstruation in human being. This is a Form 3 topic question. It needs a candidate to have a deep understanding on the concept of reproduction, especially reproduction in mammals. So, by starting with the key point before we discuss on the process of menstruation, kwanza tuwe familiar with what is menstruation on itself. Tunapozungumzia menstruation ni nini? Menstruation in Swahili hii hapa ni hedhi. Kwa hiyo, what is menstruation? Menstruation is a process that involves the discharge of an egg, uterine tissue, and mucus through the vagina. So the process of discharging egg, uterine tissue, and mucus through the vagina, that is known as menstruation. Some women experience menstruation once a month from puberty to menopause. Kwa wanawake wanakuwa na experience menstruation mara moja kwa mwezi baada ya kuvunja ungo, baada ya balehe. So, on average, menstruation takes 3 to 7 days. Kwa kawaida, menstruation au mwanamke anakuwepo anapata hedhi ndani ya siku 3 hadi siku 7. Hii hapo ni for average. Sio formula. Kuna wengine anapata siku 2.5, kuna wengine 3, kuna wengine 4, 5, 6 hadi 7. That is average. Lakini above that, hiyo hapo sio average, hiyo sio normal. Meaning that huyo mtu atakuwa na matatizo, either matatizo ya hormonal imbalance. So in case kama mtu ataweza kupata a menstrual experience menstruation in more than 7 days, she have to seek for the medical help kwa ajili ya uweze kuangalia what is the main problem. So for some individual it might take up to 45 days, 15 days or more, which is not common. So now let us answer our question. Tumeambiwa kwamba tuweze kuelezea the process of menstruation. Menstruation is being regulated by the hormones. So ili menstruation iweze ku take place, lazima the endocrine or hormonal system pawepo. So this is a chemical substance ambayo ni hormone that is released by one organ and has effect on another organ. So the hormonal regulation of menstruation cycle. Sema kwamba ovulation pamoja na menstruation, these are the hormonal controlled. They are controlled by the hormone which are produced by the woman during the puberty, ambao ni estrogen pamoja na progesterone, ambazo ni very very crucial, which are very very important kwa ajili ya both of these two process ambao ni ovulation pamoja na menstruation. Menstruation inatokea pale ambapo kumekuwepo na unsuccessful fertilization. In case if two mates or couples meet na isiwepo the successful fertilization of the released egg during an ovulation katika fallopian tube, inapelekea menstruation. Kunakuwa na discharge of this egg uterine wall pamoja na mucus through the vagina, na hivyo mtu anakuwa na experience menstruation. So hormonal regulation of the menstrual cycle, tuweze kuangalia namna gani hormones zinakuwa zina regulate the menstrual cycle. So the menstrual cycle is regulated by the following hormone. The first one, kuna gonadotropic hormone, na kwa kifupi tunaiita GnRH. So gonadotropic hormone. Second one ni follicle stimulating hormone ambao ni FSH. Third one ni estrogen, nyingine ni progesterone pamoja na luteinizing hormone. So these five hormones are the one which are responsible for the menstruation to occur in woman. Menstruation is only common for women. Hamna mwanaume ambaye ana experience menstruation kwa sababu anakuwa release mayai. So mechanism of the menstruation can be explained as follows. First one, kuna the release of the gonadotropic hormone ambayo GnRH hapa ni kifupi cha gonadotropic hormone as we see. So gonadotropic releasing hormone stimulate the anterior pituitary gland to secrete the follicle stimulating hormone, and the follicle stimulating hormone travel in the blood to the ovary and stimulate the development of several follicles. Kwa gonadotropic hormone be released by the pituitary gland. Above pituitary gland, after the release, can flow through the blood. This is endocrine system, but they does not have the duct, so they have ductless. So this gonadotropic hormone are released by the pituitary gland so as to stimulate the anterior, released by the hypothalamus so as to stimulate the anterior pituitary. Maana tunasema kama katika pituitary kuna two lobes, kuna anterior pamoja na posterior. So anterior lobe are the one which is responsible for the release or production of this follicle stimulating hormone. So they are to be stimulated, then to release this follicle stimulated hormone. So this follicle stimulated hormone is an endocrine, so it's being released direct into the blood. So they tend to travel direct into the blood to the ovaries, where they stimulate the development of different follicles or egg. So usually one follicle will complete the development in a month. Although numerous follicles are released or produced under the secretion of this follicle stimulating hormone, only one follicle completes its complete development in maturation. And the cell into the developing follicle starts to produce estrogen. But the development of this matured follicle, the cell ambayo ipo katika this matured follicle, developing follicle, inaanza kuproduce estrogen, which stimulates the repair and development of endometrium to the uterus. So this estrogen inasaidia katika repairing of the endometrium, so kwa ajili ya successful fertilization, ambayo in case kama successful fertilization itaweza take place, implantation iweze kuwa possible within the uterus. Ndio maana kuna kuwepo na repairing of the endometrium, ambapo ndio kuna kuwepo kuna implantation of the embryo after the successful fertilization, after the fusion of male and the female gamete. So estrogen also inhibits the secretion of the follicle stimulating hormone to prevent the possibility of further follicle being stimulated, so that's only one egg being produced at the time. So vile hii hapo estrogen inact by providing the negative feedback by inhibiting the production of the follicle stimulating hormone to prevent the further production of the follicle, to ensure that only one egg or only one follicle is being released during the ovulation. And this egg or this follicle, they tend to alternate between two ovaries. In case if this month the egg or follicle has been released from the left ovary, the coming month the follicle will be released from the right ovary, so they tend to alternate. Also, at the middle point of the cycle, estrogen level increase. At the middle point of the cycle, the estrogen level inaongezeka, na hivyo ina trigger the secretion of the luteinizing hormone. But luteinizing hormone sasa inapelekea sasa the rupturing of that matured follicle from the ovary to the fallopian tube kwa ajili ya ovulation. Kwa hivyo luteinizing hormone causes ovulation. And ovulation, this is a release of the matured egg from the ovary to the oviduct for fertilization. So luteinizing hormone causes ovulation in the ovary. during the ovulation, the secondary oocyte detach from the wall of the follicle. So it tends to detach, or to be released from the wall of the follicle, from the ovarian wall. So, and released into the body cavity and passes into the fallopian tube where fertilization tends to take place. Na vile vile, the ovulated oocyte contain part of the Graafian follicle which is stimulated by luteinizing hormone to develop into corpus luteum. Baada ya release of this matured follicle, yale mabaki yale ambayo the matured egg yamebi release ambayo ni Graafian follicle ina stimulate the production of this luteinizing hormone kuweza kutengeneza this corpus luteum ambayo inaitwa ni yellow body, ambayo corpus luteum inasaidia katika production of the estrogen pamoja na progesterone, ambayo progesterone sasa inasaidia katika thickening of the uterine wall kwa ajili ya implantation in case kama fertilization ita become more successful katika fallopian tube. So the corpus luteum continue to secrete the estrogen as well as progesterone, lakini kwa muda huu kiasi cha estrogen inaenda kupungua mwilini. So the progesterone stimulate the thickening and also maintaining its thickness and also stimulate the glandular cavity. Kwa hiyo hapa progesterone inasaidia katika kuweza kuincrease or maintain so the thickness of the uterine wall kwa ajili ya implantation. Na vile vile anterior pituitary gland inhibit the release of luteinizing hormone pamoja na follicle stimulating hormone. Again, anterior pituitary gland ina perform negative feedback kuweza kumaintain the state of the balance or the state of stability by inhibiting the release of the luteinizing hormone pamoja na follicle stimulating hormone, ili ensure kwamba only one egg is being released at that time, na vile vile luteinizing hormone ensure kwamba only one matured egg will be released for ovulation au kwa ajili ya fertilization. Vile vile the release of progesterone is associated with the rise in the body temperature. The release of the progesterone ita ile heat period ambayo ni kwa ovulation, ambayo inakuwa ni cycle ya 14, ambapo mwanamke in case if akakutana na mwanamume during the sexual intercourse anakuwa katika high rate of conceiving the pregnant, inakuwa ni heat period or the temperature inakuwa inaongezeka, that's why inaita heat period. So the release of this progesterone inapelekea joto la mwili kuweza kupanda, is associated with the rise in body temperature of a female after ovulation. So if fertilization does not occur, the corpus luteum degenerates about 28 days of the cycle. In case kama fertilization, the fusion of male and female gametes do not take place, meaning that fertilization haita take place, hivyo mwanamke anakuwa anapata hedhi baada ya siku 28. Kwa the normally menstrual period au ovulation natoka kila baada ya siku 20. Kwa baada ya kila siku 28 mwanamke anakuwa anapata hedhi na vinginevyo. Kuna wengine wanapata 22, kuna wengine 25, 28 hadi 32, lakini average au normal waga ni siku 28. So once it starts to generate, the level of progesterone in a decline, so inhibition of follicle stimulating hormone inakuwa inabi altered. So baada the degeneration of this corpus luteum, the kile kiasi cha progesterone ambayo ilikuwa inabi produce kwa ajili ya kuensure thickness of the uterine wall inakuwa inapungua, na hivyo sasa ile the production of this follicle stimulating hormone inabidi na hada inakuwa inaongezeka kuweza kuensure kwamba another follicles are to be produced kwa ajili ya ovulation for another coming cycle. So the endometrium also break down to cause the menstruation. Ile endometrium ambayo ili be repaired by the estrogen vile vile inakuwa ina breakdown kwa ajili ya kuweza prepare to cause menstruation. Vile vile this lasts for 3 to 7 days and cycle state again. Kwa hivyo inakuwa ina last kwa siku 3 hadi siku 7 na cycle ilikuwa inaongezeka. So hapa ni menstruation na cycle inakuwa inaanza kama kawaida. So that is all about the mechanism of menstruation. So just you are needed to explain just on brief as like that. Hapa ni structure ambayo ilikuwa inaelezea the menstrual cycle ambayo tumeangalia. Hizi hapa zote ni menstrual days ambayo ina last for 3 to 7 days. As you see here, kuna 1, 2, 3 mpaka 7. These are the fertile period ambayo ni menstrual period. Anza siku ya 8 hadi 17, these are the fertile period, ambapo kuanzia siku ya 11 mpaka mpaka siku ya 17 mwanamke anakuwa katika high risk of fertilization in case kama ata engage in sexual intercourse with their partner, anaweza kapata pregnancy. Lakini hizi hapa the remaining, these are the infertile, a woman can practice even a sexual intercourse without conceiving a pregnancy. So that is how a question does to answer it. The question number 7B ilikuwa ina state kwamba mention 2 types of the common disorders of the human reproductive system. Mention 2 types of the common disorders of the human reproductive system. So, haya ni magonjwa ambayo yanakuwa yana affect the reproductive system. So, letu alija to limit to either to explain wakati kwa kiume au wa kike. So, you have a chance, ni wewe upendelee uelezee either kwa mwanamke au kwa mwanamume. Lakini sisi swali letu tunaenda kuzungumzia kwa upande wa mwanamke. So, the disorders of the reproductive system. These are the diseases which tend to affect this part of the reproductive system or organ of the reproductive system, which might interfere or which might prevent the successful fertilization. So, there are several disorders that can interfere with the female and male reproductive system. Now we are going to discuss the disorders of the female reproductive system. Remember, the question you have been asked just to state 2 disorders of the reproductive system. So, the disorders of the female. Disorder can interfere with the female reproductive system include the following. The first one, infertility. Tunazungumzia infertility, hapa tunazungumzia ugumba. So, infertility is a condition whereby a woman is unable to conceive the pregnancy. Is a condition whereby a woman is unable to conceive a pregnancy. In a woman, infertility can be caused by abnormality of the reproductive organ. Kwa infertility au ugumba kwa mwanamke inaweza ikapelekewa na abnormality of the reproductive organ. Kivipi? Hormonal imbalance which affect the ovulation can also cause infertility. Vile vile matatizo ya kihormone ambayo yana affect ovulation. Ovulation tunasema kwamba this is the process of the release of the matured egg from the ovary into the fallopian tube kwa ajili ya fertilization. Kwa hormonal imbalance ndaka ika affect the ovulation, meaning that ovulation inaweza isitokee. Au ovulation inaweza katokea lakini the released egg ikawa ni immature one. Inaweza kapelekea production of the egg which are not matured. So once the fertilization will take place, kutakuwa hakuna that fusion of the matured nuclei, hivyo fertilization will not take place. Vile vile, the presence of the tumor in the reproductive system and blockage of the fallopian tube caused by sexually transmitted infection. Vile vile, uwepo wa uvimbe katika via vya uzazi au kuziba kwa mrija wa fallopian ambapo ndio fertilization inaweza ka take place, ambayo inaweza kusababishwa na magonjwa ya ngono au ngono zembe, kwa mfano kama gonorrhea, syphilis pamoja na chlamydia, ambayo inaweza kapelekea kuziba kwa fallopian tube, hivyo napelekea yai lisiweze the sperm pamoja na yai siweze kufuse, hivyo fertilization inaweza take place na hivyo mwanamke akawa mgumba. The sperm, the blockage of this fallopian tube ambayo inasababishwa na either these diseases inaweza ikabidi treated in case kama mtu atatumia dawa kwa ajili ya kuweza kutibu ugonjwa, au kama ni uvimbe unaweza kutibia mtu kwa kufanywa upasuaji. Vile vile, poor nutrition and physical injuries may lead to infertility. Ulaji mbovu inaweza kapelekea na pamoja na ajali inaweza kapelekea mtu akapata ugumba. Na vile vile, in women, surgical operation to unblock the fallopian tube can be done to address the problem. Kwa wanawake, surgical operation inaweza kufanyika kwa ajili ya kuweza kuzibua mrija fallopian. Vile vile, hormonal supplements can also be used in case of hormonal imbalance. Vile vile, hormonal supplement inatakiwa itumike kwa wale ambao kuna kuwepo na hormonal imbalance. Kingine, eating balanced diet may also help to alleviate the problem. Eating a balanced diet may also help to alleviate the problem which is caused by the poor nutrition. Another disorder is frigidity. Frigidity, this is a condition by which a woman fails to respond to sexual stimulus. Ni ile hali ambayo mwanamke anakuwa anakosa hisia za kimapenzi dhidi ya mwenza wake, na ugonjwa unasababishwa either by the psychological problem, either mtu alibakwa au another background ambayo inasababisha akose kabisa awe na bad attitude towards men. So, thus the female failed to reach the orgasm, that is a climax of enjoyment during the sexual intercourse. Kwa mwanamke anakuwa hawezi kufurahia tendo la ndoa, hawezi akafika ile climax au orgasm ambayo ni maximum enjoyment of the sexual intercourse. So, it can be caused by the underproduction of oxytocin hormone or other progestin in the body, na vile vile psychological factors, na vile vile kwa wale wamama ambao wanakuwa wananyonyesha, vile vile wanaweza wakapata au wakakosa hisia, wakasuffer from this reproductive disorder ambao ni female genital mutilation. Kwa mfano wale ambao wanakuwa na wale ambao wanakuwa na keketo, wanakeketwa, that's clitoris, ambao ni organ for orgasm, ambao ni organ for sexual stimulation kwa wanawake. So once it can be removed, inakuwa ni vigumu sana mwanamke kuweza kupata hisia, kuweza kufikia ile orgasm. Na vile vile breastfeeding, kwa wale ambao wananyonyesha, wanakuwa wana experience this particular disease or disorder. So my lovely Form 4 students, that mark the end of our today's session. Thank you for your attention. I would like to welcome you in other coming session to keep on following Educare Media. Have a nice moment.